On this episode of the Star Trek Universe podcast, we're talking about Star Trek Lower Decks 204, Mugato, Gumato, right after these ads that we're powerless to control.
Welcome to the Star Trek Universe podcast, the continuing conversation two lifelong friends have been having since they were 6 years old about Star Trek. Now you just get to listen in and hear these sleepy musings about Star Trek Lower Decks. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I am David C. Robertson. I'm not sleepy, though.
Oh, I'm so sleepy. No, see, here's the thing. I'm going to Dragon Con this weekend, as I think I mentioned on a previous episode. But that means that if we don't do it tonight, I can't do it till like Tuesday. So we got to do this thing, money on the barrelhead, man. Let's talk about Lower Decks.
Sure, man.
Let's do it. What'd you think? What'd you think of Mugato Gumato?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I really, there wasn't a lot of laughter to it for me.
I didn't think this one is as funny, and honestly, I found it kind of frustrating. Like the actual plot of them thinking she was a spy. The characters felt a little dumber in this episode than they normally do, which is saying something. And I like you said, it wasn't a laugh a minute like it often is. This was a weaker episode in my opinion, but it wasn't horrible. It just was a little weaker.
Except what was weird for me was that some of the funnier bits was when they were just being ridiculously stupid.
Sure, yeah.
But, I think it was a little outlandish for them to think that Mariner was a secret agent, but at the same time, they actively disbelieve the guy at first. But then, as happens in real life, the dude just totally brain ninja'd them. Right. And they were just
confirmation bias sets in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
enjoyed that.
I get it. It feels like a season 1 episode, like an episode they should have had when they barely knew her. You know what I mean? Or something. And they even say, this was probably my favorite because I was kind of in the middle of this episode going yeah, but they know her pretty well. I don't know. It just felt a little silly. And then at the end of the episode, Rutherford says, in retrospect, this probably would have come up before now. I was like, yes, it would have, Rutherford. That is correct.
The way they hung that lantern, I feel, makes the episode worthwhile.
It makes that joke worthwhile for sure. I don't know that the episode was worth that one joke, but yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the Ferengi stuff. I like the resolution a lot of, we're going to use our brains, but instead of using the brains to defeat the Ferengi, they use their brains to put together a better business plan. That was pretty great.
That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. That was a whole lot of fun.
Probably my favorite part.
But, just starting out with the Ambojitsu stuff was a whole lot of fun for me. I love that she's just beating the holy shit out of them.
Yes.
And they're begging for help, and Shax is like, don't mind me, I've still got 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm early.
I'm early.
Don't mind me. And they're all bleeding out of their ears.
Yeah, that was great. Put the kid gloves on! Put the kid gloves on!
Every once in a while, I'm watching this show and I just think of a line that I think you would really enjoy. And when I was listening to Otis at the bar, and he's like,
"You mean Honus?
What is his name?
Honus, Honus.
Honus. Okay. So,
I'm curious to see, because I did write down a line from Honus that made me laugh really hard. But I'm curious to see if it's the same one you thought.
If and that is her real name.
No, I've heard that one too much.
Yeah, just the use of "if'n." It reminded me of a joke you would make, probably more than one.
What got me was, it's close, it's so close. The one that got me was, I tell you, they made her into a killing machine.
I did, this was a bit of an inversion, this episode, with they doubt Mariner, she gets captured, and then they come to save her with their smarts instead of she, he says when she gets back up in the corner, that's when she turns into the secret agent. But and that rang true because every time she's backed into a corner, she does really badass things to get out of that corner.
Yeah.
In this case, she gets herself captured and they come in with the save. And I liked the callback to a compromise. It's like, neither of us are happy. You know what that means? We have a compromise. And in the background, Mariner like joins them by raising a fist and sort of mouthing the word compromise with them. Like she's like joining in, like she's cheerleading on the sidelines for their business plan. I thought that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that. Yes. I was weirded out by Shax running around just eating shit.
Yeah,
that was a really weird joke.
It was,
but I enjoyed it. She was like, "I'm pretty sure we're on the right path. You don't have to." Oh God.
Yeah, I don't know why this, and maybe I'm wrong, but this episode felt sillier than most, and in multiple ways, it felt sillier than most. Like things just didn't exactly add up. It did not feel as tightly written or as well thought out as most episodes. It felt more like a kid's cartoon to me.
Well, yeah, and you know, I don't mind that. Like,
sure,
I thought it was, and that I think they knew it too, because that's not the only lantern they hung. I was talking about this should have come up before, but like when Tindy is running after the doctor, and then she scans her real quick. She's like, "Oh, that was pretty quick. I don't know why I put up such a fuss." It's like, yeah, why?
Yeah,
like there was a chase sequence through the ship.
Yeah, and then also Dr. Tiana. This is the second episode in a row that she's been like
weird.
Well, just like
or kind compromised.
I think kind of making fun of her catness. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
I see what you say.
To her with that bow and arrow and all, you know? But no, like, yeah, we talk about it a lot, how like the Star Fleet should be over the sort of like, I don't know, the differences that are so like species based that I don't know, just kind of funny that they keep focusing on the silliness that she is a cat.
Yeah. Well, you know,
but it is this show. So
silly comedy is, you know, kind of what you call an evergreen.
I guess so.
Get it? See what I did?
I didn't get it.
Katniss Everdeen.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was her name. Sorry. It's a great joke. Great joke. If I had cared more about Hunger Games, then I would really, really guffawed at that one.
I mean, you brought it up. I thought we were doing a thing.
Sorry. I wish that I knew how to read, and then I would have really gone on that ride with you.
You know what? I'd call you a son of a bitch, but I love your mom, and this is not on her.
Oh, man. So, yeah. I enjoyed the Mugatos. I enjoyed the fact that they never said the names right the same way twice.
Yes.
And they even bring it up. They're like, you know, they have many pronunciation. They say 3 or 4, and then they continually call them different ones throughout the episode. There's even one moment where they really highlight it, where one character, I forget what he says. He comes in, he's like, the Mugato, and then he's like, the Mugato. He like says it 2 times in 2 sentences in a row and says it completely differently.
Yep. And that is absolutely a reference to the original series, A Private Little War. In the script, the creature was called Gumato. And DeForest Kelley could not say that word.
Yeah.
So they changed it to Mugato. And then during the shooting, both Kelly and Shatner pronounced it Mugato. Like, so that they're making fun of the original show that had the Mugato. But here's a weird thing. This is, Shaq says their genitals are sensitive to phaser fire. And I was like, I don't remember them shooting that creature in the crotch in the original series, but that sounds like an obvious reference to that episode.
Yeah, that line seemed out of place because it wasn't really a joke, but it had the sort of like cadence of a reference or a joke. I felt the same way.
And I was like, you know what? It's been a while since I've seen A Private Little War. It's not one of my favorite episodes. It's got some really fantastic acting from T. Kelly specifically, I'd say. But, so like I went back and was like looking, and I looked at the original version and the remastered version. They don't shoot that creature in the dick. Chest and stomach. There are two different Mugato that are fighting, and they shoot him once in the chest, and then the other one is in the stomach.
I feel like I would have been surprised if they had, but yeah, I don't know what that was a reference to. I have no idea why he said that, because it wasn't funny. Like, it felt like they were making a joke, but it was not funny at all. And so I was like, maybe a reference, but you're right. If not, I guess I have no idea why he said that. Unless it was just like, that sort of, oh, look how random this humor is. But it was, yeah. This episode's weird. I don't think this one's well written. I'm gonna, I always try to be positive regardless, and I still had a good time.
I mean, you can have a criticism,
but I don't love this episode. I think it's, sort of sloppily written, and it didn't feel like it was for me. And a lot of these episodes, even though this isn't necessarily my kind of show, like a lot of the episodes still feel like they're for me, because they're such love letters to Star Trek. And, while this one had some cool references, I liked the, you guys are those last outposts type of Ferengi, aren't you? Those holdovers. Have you ever heard of Quark? Of course we've heard of Quark.
I believe it was some kind of creepy throwback last outpost style Ferengi. I had to stop and write it down. Yeah. But I also loved that she was like, guys, you can just replicate stuff.
Yeah.
Like the stuff you buy with Latinum, you guys are dumb.
You guys are dumb. We've solved scarcity. Your capitalism makes no sense anymore.
And it's not even like unless there was a reversion, it's not even the way of the Ferenginar anymore as of the finale or as of the last season of DS9, I should say.
Right, but these are some creepy holdover last outpost type Ferengi.
That's true. A line that got me really hard, and I don't even know why, but I mean, it was good. Tendi tells that guy, it says here you should be drinking more milk because your bones are so weak. Bye!
Yeah, that was good. That was good. And then he's like, what? No, my bones are, because he's talking to a lady at the bar, and he's like, no, my bones are fine. Oh no, my hip! Oh, one thing, I'm assuming I'm right. I haven't looked it up, but I believe that was Paul F. Tompkins as the scrapper, who conned her out of her ship.
That would make sense, but I haven't paid attention.
I love Paul F. Tompkins, and so they didn't give him much to do in this episode, but like, I really love him in everything. So his voice. Yeah. I love to hear his voice. Nice. And that was one of the better jokes of the episode too, was, him being like, what kind of things did you have on your ship? And he just starts naming all of the things on her shelf right in front of him. That was really silly. Really silly. Yeah, it was.
That was fun. Okay, so I know it's crass. I don't care. I love the Mugato having sex. I love the one that just wants to watch. And I love that he was jerking off his horn.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, this episode feels like it's for children. Like, it really does. Like, I don't feel the whole episode felt
I hope
to me,
you wouldn't think that was for children.
Right, exactly. That's my point. So the whole episode felt like the humor and the, like, sort of stakes and everything felt super childlike to me. Like, oh, our friend might be a spy. And then you thought I could be a spy. I'm upset at you. Like, all that stuff felt very like Disney Channel. But then in the middle, they have a cuck scene where he's like masturbating in the corner with his horn. Like, that's weird. And like, I didn't love that scene, but it's just not really my kind of humor.
It is my kind of humor.
Yeah, and that's cool.
It was just weird.
No kink shaming,
I mean, I don't know that it's a kink. It's just a weird sense of humor. I don't get off on that sense of humor. I just think it's funny.
Just teasing. Oh man,
you better be. Oh, maybe my absolute favorite line. I wish we had special powers. Wait, we do. Maybe not here, but here. Our skin, our brains are inside of our skin.
Did they? Am I wrong, or did they say that joke twice, or did they say something very similar in a different part in the episode, or did I like?
You're once again remembering the trailer.
Is it the trailer?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. I don't even remember seeing the trailer for this season, but I guess I must have.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the show, so yes.
There we go. Yeah,
yeah. It's like second time now that you've tried to shame the show for repeating a joke that was just in the trailer.
I wasn't trying to shame. I thought it was a reference. Like I thought they'd made some similar joke. Honestly, I thought it was earlier in this episode, which is why I was confused. And I wonder if it's because I fell asleep and rewatched this episode because I fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
So I might have heard that joke twice tonight and been like, did that joke happen already?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I was, as mentioned at the top of the episode, I was trying to watch this right when it popped on at 2 a.m.
Right.
And
Speaking of kink shaming,
I passed out. Yeah, please, kink shaming.
I feel like, it's 24th, almost 25th century here. They're like, they wore themselves out, even the one watching, and then Rutherford goes, gross. It felt a little inappropriate.
That's funny.
It is funny. I did laugh really hard.
I didn't even hear him say gross, but yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's so funny, like, to think, our current sensibilities of what is woke and what isn't, and like, we just covered an episode of The Orville earlier today, and it was the same sort of thing. I was like, are they laughing at the sexuality of this creature, or is this high-minded comedy? Like, we're like trying to discuss like at what point this crosses lines to offensive, even by our standards, and wouldn't it be by their standards? And like, like, eating our own tail, trying to figure out like, is this offensive or is it cool? I really don't know. It's weird. Some of the humor here is weird. It's good. Great fucking show, though. Just a great fucking show.
By the way,
highly recommend.
I love that Shax got bitten in the same place Kirk did in A Private Little War.
Oh yeah,
that made me happy. And I love that their little projector that they constructed that looked like a cannon at the beginning just looked like the cannon that Kirk constructed in Arena to fight the Gorn. And I'm pretty sure they were playing original series style music.
That's awesome.
Aside from all that, like, I don't know that I have a lot more to say. Like, I really enjoyed the bartender going, "Oh, your secret safe with me." Like, shifty eye.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that bartender.
I do like that bartender. I hope he shows up more often.
Was that the first we've seen him?
As far as I know.
I feel like I've seen him before.
I mean, maybe he's been in the background, but I don't think he's ever had any llines.
I was just teasing you. I was going to give you another chance to accuse me of seeing him in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't catch that at all.
I'm just joking. Man, I agree. I have nothing else to say about this episode. I think it's one of the weaker of the Lower Decks to me. I still had a fun time, but I just thought it didn't perform as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
It mostly sat in the corner and watched. What?
I have another line I really enjoyed. It was the lowest tractor factor.
Yeah, I wondered. See, I did not like that joke, and it was similar to that other joke you mentioned where you thought it might be a reference. I was like, I wonder if at some point on the original series they called it a tractor factor, and that's a reference because it felt really clunky, that line, and I was like, I wonder if that's a reference. If it's a reference, it's kind of funny, I guess. If it's not, it feels stupid.
I didn't think it was a reference. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I did not.
Well,
if it's to you, enjoy what
fine.
you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't yuck my yum, Matt.
Yeah, maybe this is just not a show I should watch at 2 a.m.
Maybe not.
Maybe it's just like I'm too sleepy. I'm not really like engaging properly with the material.
I don't know. I mean, it might just be this was sillier and, perversely, weird and silly and in places. And
yeah, you're maybe right. It's just not my cup of Romulan ale or whatever.
I mean, yeah, but then again, it did seem different. Whatever was going on in this, like the humor in this episode seemed different to me.
Yeah. I'm glad you see that too. Even if it's not something that bothers you as much, I do think it did feel different. I don't know why.
Yeah, it felt a little sillier. I think you're right on that, but it was the kind of weird, perverse, silly that I like.
It was sillier and not as we've said at the top, like not as laugh a minute. Like there's not as many like laser jokes mixed into the sort of silly romp that they go on. It's more about the silly romp, which wasn't that interesting to me.
I will say there's another quote I've got here that I skipped over accidentally. And I laughed really hard at that one. Maybe the old Tindy was a pushover, but a lot's changed since slightly earlier today.
That was a good joke. Yeah. That was a good joke. I almost wrote that one down. I liked it.
I liked that one a lot.
Slightly earlier today.
That felt like old school Simpsons or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Anyway,
cool.
You wanna trek out of here?
Yeah, man. You want to say the closing prayer?
The closing prayer? We have a closing prayer now?
Yeah, man. That's how we in all podcasts end with a closing prayer.
Is that what happened? No, I don't think I've ever done that.
Man, you're going to get in trouble with the podcast guild.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the podcast gods. And I was
that is
Mark Maron and Conan O'Brien?
Joe Rogan and Mark Maron?
Joe Rogan is a fallen angel.
Joe Rogan's the devil of podcasting.
He's got COVID now, so I guess.
Yeah, he's fuck that guy. No, I generally like Rogan fine, but he just it's a big dumb meathead sometimes. And he got COVID and went out and made a video about how he took all the basically all the stupid Republican cures that aren't proven in any way, like but he also took the monoclonal antibodies, which is the really expensive actual cure. So he took the actual cure, but then also took a bunch of bullshit. I forget what the new one's called, whatever their new hydroxychloroquine is. And then he made a video about how I took monoclonal antibodies and I took this and that, and he just starts naming all the stupid things he took. But he took the actual cure, the really expensive thing that they gave the president, and they give it to people who can afford it, but they don't. Yeah. They can't give it to everybody. It's the monoclonal antibodies or whatever. And he got the actual thing that helps. And then he also took a bunch of bullshit and then made a video and was yep, so I really took care of this thing by taking all this stuff. And it's no, you just took the one thing that helped you, and you're just telling all of your followers who are going to turn around and take the stupid
things they can't.
Yeah, the things they can afford, the fucking dewormer, and anyway, fucking get your vaccines, people.
Yeah.
Don't be a Dr. Tahana or whatever.
You're not Joe Rogan. You're not, tripping on, some DMT or whatever the hell it is.
Speak for yourself, my friend.
You're not talking to ice crystal beings and...
Did I tell you I tried microdosing?
I don't know. No, you didn't.
Probably shouldn't talk about that on the podcast.
Probably not. Why not? Joe Rogan does, and he's a millionaire.
It's true, yeah. I tried microdosing.
What was that like?
I felt stress relieved.
Oh, okay.
Like extremely so. They say it opens you up, emotionally and stuff. And I only did it the once, and it's really more something you're supposed to do every day for a while to really get the real effects of it. But the one time I took it, I've had a lot going on in my life for the last 6 months, 8 months. Family, a lot of death in my family and stuff. And,
It's been about a year, honestly.
Yeah, it's been about a year. Since February. So it's been a year and a half, since my sister passed. And, anyway, so she, so it's just been a really stressful year. And, I guess like I don't feel that stress on a day-to-day basis, but like, it's like I took that and immediately it was like I felt the stress and then I felt it lift. And for like whatever that like 4 or 5 hours, I just felt like, whew, it doesn't, microdosing doesn't give you the effects of like tripping, but it just like makes you, microdosing psilocybin makes you just like, I don't know. It supposedly, people say it opens you up. I don't know exactly what that means. But I have friends who swear by it, and so I gave it a shot. It was I would like to do it again. I would like to do it on an extended basis, but I have no idea how to get it on an extended basis in Alabama. So I don't trust, like, I've never bought drugs in my life, and I don't trust just going down to the local druggie and picking up some of the devil's weed, you know?
Yeah, I can see you trotting down the street. Pardon me, local druggie.
Yes, pardon me, sir. Pardon me, rapscallion. Do you have any drugs?
There's a shiny nickel in it for you, my boy.
So yeah, I just don't, like, it annoys me though, because I read about and listen to people talk about their experience with that stuff, and some of it seems really, really super helpful to a lot of people, especially people who've been through a lot of trauma. Yeah. And it really bothers me that it's illegal. Like, it really, really bothers me, because especially things like microdosing. I can understand why you don't want people running through the streets tripping all the time, but like a controlled substance that could be controlled and microdosed seems like a no-brainer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, tell everybody that that's what we talk about now and get us as popular as Rogan, people. Let's do this.
It's like a hypo spray.
It's like a hypo spray. Mm-hmm. So's the vaccine. Go get your vaccine. So there's this guy who has been writing in. I've been releasing music on, I hope he doesn't listen to this show, because I don't want to give him any more, I don't want to give him any air, because it's just fucking bullshit. Anyway, he just has been writing in and criticizing the podcasts for a while. Like, he's just, so he listens to every episode, because he writes in like very specific complaints. So he's listening to everything, but he will write in and be like, I don't know. He'll just say bullshit. And even his email address is a reference to one of our shows. It's like,
he sounds sick. This is your Mark David Chapman, man. You gotta be careful.
Right. Exactly. So I haven't been responding because he's basically just writes in to insult me. And lately, particularly, I started dropping music on the MCU cast for Black Widow, the Black Widow album I'm working on. And he just like keeps writing in every time. He's like, stop putting music on the pod. It's like, I'm putting it at the end of the podcast. Fuck you. Like, just, it's music. You can shut it off. And like, don't listen.
It's also a podcast. You can also shut that off.
Yeah. Like, I don't care what you say. And a lot of people enjoy what I'm doing, and that's cool. I care what they think. I don't particularly care what you think. It's not for you. That's fine. But anyway, he keeps writing in these like very mean messages. It's
like the real life Surly Clench Bottom.
And I guess he heard someone on the podcast recommend getting the vaccine, and he just wrote in like, just like, fuck you and your like totalitarian vaccine. And it's like, oh yeah, I could have guessed.
Yeah.
I could have guessed that's the kind of guy you were. Fucking dumbass.
Yeah. All right. By the way, for the listeners out there, Surly Clench Bottom was a character I created a million years ago.
That's right.
Who basically I found like some picture of an old man looking angry in a hat.
He made a Facebook profile for Surly Clench Bottom, and he trolled everyone on Facebook for a while.
I did, and Surly made a page called I Hate Matt Carroll.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And he just like showed up on your pages and was like, this is terrible. It was very clearly a joke, but
Still hurt.
Well, it was on the principle that everybody's got to have a hater, and if you don't have a hater, you haven't made it yet. So it's like you got to have like some old guy.
I think the idea is you get your stuff out to the world to so many people that eventually you have haters. Like,
but
you don't want to start with only haters, Dave.
Yeah, but you got to rally the troops, and like if people go to your page and they're like, there aren't even any shit posts here. You know what? They're not even worth having shit posts. Like, they're not big enough.
Fair.
Not enough people have seen them to be angry that they exist.
Your logic is unimpeachable. Oh man, no, it's true. Like, that's one of the, I heard some celebrity talking about it once where they're like, they don't like to respond to like the haters, but they'll just like retweet a horrible thing so all their fans jump on the person. I long to one day have all the fans to do that.
I don't get a lot of hate, and it depends what kind of hate I'm talking about. Like,
I just get unhinged anti-vax. I hate your music. Hate. Stop selling me your totalitarian Stop pushing your totalitarian vaccine, fatty. I think was the full email.
Damn.
Just rude. The guy's just, and the thing is, I keep blocking him too. Like every time he sends an email,
and he keeps creates new things.
We know he keeps finding another email address to email me at because I have so many. So
he's just pushing hard for a long time.
So like he just keeps finding another podcast's email and sending me more bullshit. Oh, I would like to block him from my life because I just don't fucking care. I don't need that negativity. And on a rough morning, something like that can affect me. Luckily, like the first time he wrote in shortly after I'd put some stuff on the podcast, my music for the first time on the MCU cast, and he wrote in a really negative thing about the music, and I was like, God, fuck you. But luckily, right before he sent it in, right before I got the email, like 3 people had sent me really meaningful emails about, and like Facebook messages about how certain songs meant so much to them and stuff. They were like,
sure.
Oh man, this song from your album like did this and really meant this, and oh man, I heard this song that you put up and it's just really, really like special because it touched me in this way. And I'm like, oh man, these people are actually connecting to the music. And so one guy saying it sucks, like it just doesn't bother me, and I don't care.
It just meant that just means the music touched him in a place he was uncomfortable with.
Yeah. I get that.
Like right outside of his asshole. Just a little grazing. Because someone like that's homophobic too.
Oh yeah. Probably so. And, he just heard my music and he just wants this sweet, sweet voice to be whispering nothings into his ears.
Right. And and if your music touched me there, I'd just be like, oh, it's like a doctor.
All right. I'm gonna go find some DMT. I need to die.
You see way off in the distance. I think it's the rail that we jumped.
The rail that we jumped?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because we're off.
Off for a long, long time.
We're off.
Yep. For sure, man. For sure. Well, we gave a warning. We said we were pretty much done talking about Lower Decks, and then we talked for 20 minutes about trolls and psilocybin. So
that's right. And how your music has the uncanny ability to touch someone's asshole.
Sure. That
I think that's what I was getting at.
That it does. Ugh. I don't.
It's like a hemorrhoid bomb.
I'm just not into, like, I'm not into really crass humor in general. And someone sent me a picture today that was one of the most crass pictures I've ever seen. But it was directly of an asshole.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to see it.
So this person sent me a picture of an asshole. It was a meme. And I was like, oh gosh. And so like, then every time I went to message that person, it's just like that picture was there. Or like,
I thought you were going to say for a minute, every time I went to masturbate, that picture was just there in my mind.
Just inside my mind.
Every fold, every wrinkle, every flap.
It's real. It's real. All right, we brought it back. Back on the rails.
On the Star Trek.
Yeah. But no, I just started like sending individual words as messages just so I could push the picture further up the Facebook feed so it'd get away. I was like texting in individual words, dude, enter. I am, enter. Writing, enter. This in separate messages to send that picture further out of my view.
Was it on Messenger?
Yes.
Why didn't you just like hold your thumb down and hit remove for me?
I guess I probably could have done that. I was on my computer. I didn't think about it.
Okay, well, you can do it with your mouse.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I definitely could have. I just didn't think about it. I was just like,
Let me go about this the most painful and
it was
time-consuming way.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
I know.
It also, from that angle, it took me a second to understand what was going on in the picture. So I was just like, what is this? It was of a tattoo. And I was like, what is this tattoo?
Wait.
What part of the body?
Was it a tattoo of an asshole or a tattoo on an asshole?
A tattoo on an asshole.
Oh my God. Why? Why would you? Why?
I'll forward it to you.
Please don't.
And you'll understand why immediately.
Is it a picture of Donald Trump?
No.
Okay.
No. But then that same friend sent me another picture like 20 minutes later of another ass. This was just an ass cheek, but with a big panda tattoo. And the panda was filleting bamboo.
Oh. You're starting to get weird fans, man.
Yeah.
That's how you really know you've made it.
This was not a fan. This was not a fan. This was a friend.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, but they were teasing me about Stranded Panda,
Mm-hmm. Gross. I mean, no judgment, but gross.
In my mind, Joel Untrue.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.